Mongoose Jake here with a new video featuring the Tier 5 Polish tank destroyer. Best I could figure, pronunciation of it is Zadymka. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I could figure out was Zadymka. So my Polish is non-existent, so apologies. But what I do know about the tank destroyer is that it's decently mobile, considering the fact that it has pretty good armor for the tier, and is also carrying around a very punchy 90mm gun. Now this is a pure tier 5 battle, and it just so happens to be my first ace in it. Now I've actually played through it, and I've gotten onto the tier 6, and I might actually go and 3-mark this little thing. Of course I do like tank destroyers. Tank destroyers and mediums tend to be my forte, but this really has only two big fatal flaws, if they end up being fatal, but I should say two flaws. And so far they haven't been fatal flaws, but just kind of a slip of tongue there. But the two flaws that will present themselves first and foremost, one is the gun sweep. It has a very narrow path, which, if you ever wonder, looking down there at the little diagram of your vehicle, you can see your gun sweep right there in the lower left hand corner of the screen. It's very, very narrow, so you'll find yourself repositioning often, which of course then upsets your accuracy as you have to reacquire a target, especially if it's a target who's going left to right or right to left. It can make it very difficult to get accurate shots on a moving target. The second big flaw is the view range, and I'm okay with that. It's got a lot going for it otherwise. The mobility is not bad. It's not a speed demon, but it's not bad. And it has probably some of the best armor of its tier for a tank destroyer, because the only other one really up for consideration is the AT2. And this is the better vehicle overall. So it not having great, it having at least, I'd say, marginal view range at best, is fine. Plus the fact that it has a very punchy weapon. This thing does not mind being down tiered. The weapon is still very relevant. The armor not so much, because it is mostly flat. And it doesn't really have a tremendous amount of gun depression to where you could accentuate the armor. It has a little bit of gun depression, and that will come into play where I do use it later in this game. And the first part, actually the first whole third of this game, is pretty stagnant for me. There's not enough over here, because it's just myself and the AMX. We can't really pressure the enemies, and I'm just trying to stay concealed, but finally I get the idea. I need to try to get shots. It's looking fairly stale in the middle, but as long as I'm sitting there just taking blind shots at nothing, then I'm basically out of the game. And I lose the M10 RBFM, and I pull forward just to take a look and see, and realize he's actually went behind the ridgeline. But from this position, I can sneak in a shot here or there if somebody crosses next to the Quonset hut, which, if you're not familiar, the Quonset hut is the half-circular round building there, and that M10 RBFM decides to oblige that idea. So now I have moved up to hopefully support the AMX if he decides to make a move, but just as I've decided to move up, we're starting to lose the middle. While it looks like we have an okay position in the south, I can already see the wrong vehicles have overextended. There's a Wolverine and an M10 RBFM who have pushed forward too far. They're going to get taken out. We've lost most of our middle. And now I'm starting, you see me just kind of repositioning. This is me in my head in the moment thinking, can I get a shot here? Do I need to get back to base? Then the KV-1 SA, he moves up. Now I don't really want to lose the AMX, but he keeps making the mistake of firing instead of just spotting. Now the AMX-13, he can be a good spotter, but it's a terrible damage dealer. And I need to keep him alive if I can. But again, he keeps taking hits because he keeps getting spotted, because he keeps trying to shoot targets. And a good light tank player will know that his optics are more important than his gun. And there he goes. Now, of course, I haven't hit the KV-1SA, so he pulls on around the corner. And yes, I do see the Panzer IV F2. He's there. And right now, I have a very split decision to make right now. Do I sit here, try to support the T1 Heavy, try to engage, maybe push forward to that Panzer IV F2, which would be the wrong move because then the Panzer V4 in the middle would have side shots on me. So no, I make the decision because my other option, instead of engaging the two Panzers and supporting the T1 Heavy, my other option, which is the better option, is to turn around, get back to base, because if I push forward, who's left to defend against capping? Nobody, except for an LEF. And that's a big ask of even something as broken as an LEF artillery. It still is an artillery. So I make the decision to turn around right then and get moving, and it absolutely was the right call. Yes, I have to completely cross the map. I was all the way up there at B5. I was the farthest person on my team away from the cap, yet I am the one to go back in order to defend. The LEF is trying to do what he can, but if he's there alone, he's going to get killed. Because now look, the T-34S and the Panzer V4 have both bypassed the T1 Heavy. And I'm trying to bring the T1 Heavy's attention to at least one or the other. And now, I am not going to be known to have been here. The only thing that they would have known was that I killed the KV-1SA. So that's why the mediums probably dropped towards the south and tried to make their way to the base, because they think I am up there in the north. Which, at this point, the T1 Heavy's the more dangerous vehicle than me, but he's misplaying it. So the LEF basically was bait for a little while, so I can kill the T-34S. Now, I need to turn around. The T1 Heavy's just going to have to do whatever he's doing. He doesn't seem like somebody I can count on, because he's misplayed so far. Like he shouldn't be driving away from the enemy's Zadymka. He should have been trying to get underneath its gun. So now, it's me, the Krill, against 5. And the Zadymka on the enemy team should be full health. But I can't sit here. I'm proximity detected. The enemies are going to be moving in. So between a pincher move from the Grill and myself, we get rid of the Panzer V4. The Grill stays alive. I actually bounce or eat the shot. I think my tracks simply absorbed the Panzer V4, which every one of those is firing premium. But now, we just take a pause. Any threat should be coming from in front of us. Remember, it's a Panzer IV F2 and the enemy's Zadymka. Now, the Panzer IV F2 is a decent tank, especially for a freebie, but it is a Panzer IV, not a speed demon. And unless the player is really, really aware, he's probably going to try to come straight towards the base. He probably isn't going to do a major flanking maneuver. Now, the enemy is Zadymka, and I don't know exactly how this happened. He got spotted. I did not. And that was an unfortunate miss right there. It would have been great to take him out right then at that second. Now, also unfortunate, The grill drops down to go chase the Zadymka. I really wish he wouldn't. Because right now, I am 99% sure that's the Panzer F4. The Panzer IV F2 on base right now. He would be the next closest vehicle, and he started capping right about the same time the Zadymka showed up. But the grill does go after the Zadymka, which, I mean, at the very least, he is definitely catching their attention. And he takes him out. And now I get the Panzer IV 100% not paying attention. I get the first shot. I get the second shot because he's not paying attention to me. And so now I get a chance to reload and finish him off. And the SU blows that. So I get to shoot and ram. And now that has turned it around. It was 2 versus 5. And now it's 1-on-1. So now I gotta go dark. This game is for me to win at this point. So now, keep an eye on where that shot came in. That's not a long range shot, and that LEF is close. I'm figuring he's right. My guess right now is he's about at D4. That was my guess. Maybe C4, C5. But no, he's even closer. And he spots me. Of course, he has by far better view range. And now he knows where I am. He's looking. So my thought is, I'll continue driving. And then I'll flip around. And yeah, I'm mostly ignoring the spam of chat. And he didn't turn around or anything. He just drove right towards me. But he's never going to win this. Unless he was, well, like aspiring heat and had a lucky pen. So I finish him off for a Top Gun and a dead even 2,500 damage to ace the tank. That was actually my first ace in it. And kind of a kudos to the grill. He actually was active and helped out. But I did get ace, I got duelist, fire for effect, Pascucci's for taking out the SU and the LAF, got the high caliber, Top Gun, and Defender. I'll let you see the rest of the stats that was shown there, and got a little bit over 1,000 base experience. Didn't fire any premium, so actually made some credits even without premium account. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.